Well, hello there and welcome to the Okanagan Forest Channel. I'm going to take a little walk through the Okanagan Highlands Forest here in a few minutes. But I wanted to show you one thing on my cabin that's new. And so I'm going to look at it first just so that you can get an idea. And let me say, over the years, so many people have asked me, well, what about a door? What do you do for a door? How do you keep it open or closed or whatever the case may be? I had one guy tell me, well, the best thing to do is build a wall in a couple feet inside the door and, put a door in and window and all that kind of stuff. And that's great. That would work beautifully. It depends on your environment. Someone else said, well, just put a slider. Put a sliding glass door across the entrance. But what I have done is something that it cost me, well, just slightly over $30, and it works beautifully. Let me explain. I got one sheet of plywood, and for those of you that may not know, a sheet of plywood is 4 feet by 8 feet. And I cut it exactly in half, so I had two 4-foot squares of plywood. You can see part of one there. Then I got a clear shower curtain that I attached to the beam that was already across the door. Now, in the evening, when I want to close things up, I just slide that piece of plywood across, and then I have a nice clear window that provides lots of light inside. And it's working really well. And the analogy would be what we sometimes call a Dutch door, where you have the top open and the bottom closed. The big advantage of this, there really are two. One, it only costs $30. And two, I can take the entire thing down in a couple minutes on a beautiful day like today, open both doors and have this wonderful kind of open door space without any obstructions from a sliding glass door or some other kind of structure. So that's probably the main reason why I finally came up with this approach. Anyway, enough on that. Let's move on and take a look at the woods. One other thing I want to show you, you may be able to see it. You can see my antenna that's coming out of the door, and it goes up into the tree. And I just tie it up there with a rope over to the other tree. You can kind of just see behind the American flag there. Well, what's interesting about that is it's a very primitive and simple antenna. But last night I had an hour and a half of beautiful radio coming from New Zealand, Radio New Zealand. I also listened to the news from China, and I got BBC and a number of other things, which made it really nice for being off the grid. So now let's walk up here and be patient with me. I'll try not to move the camera too much. What I want to do is take a little walk down and look at my small creek. There are two creeks on my property, and I'd like to look at the small one. There you can see the flag of the Republic of Cascadia, which is just kind of for fun. Okay, let's move off into the brush a little bit. It's kind of funny. It's interesting, really. This has been a wet spring. This is June in the Okanagan Highlands. And just the other day, I received a question about bugs here in the woods. And I said, well, there's never really a problem. We don't have much of a problem. But this year, for the first time in, I guess, 10 years, there are a few mosquitoes. And the reason is that this has been a very wet spring. I like the flowers. At this time of year in the woods, it's really kind of pretty. And that's just growing there naturally. It's really lovely. And then all over the ground, see if I can get a close-up for you. are wild strawberries. And let me tell you, those wild strawberries are absolutely delightful. They are so fragrant. And some of the flowers are very small, almost hard to see. Look at that beautiful purple. Anyway, it's a little bit windy, so I hope you can hear me, hear my voice. Actually, the wind is kind of nice because the wind allows us a little freedom from those mosquitoes I was just talking about. And I have to say, they're not very bad. They are just right at the threshold. I don't like bug spray. They're right at the threshold where I just don't want to put on the bug spray, but they're a little bit of an annoyance. Now, just up from the trail a little bit, again, this is the small creek on my property. Here you can see one of my markers on the trail, but just up the creek a little bit from where we're going to be, there's a spring on my property where the water comes right out of the ground. And that's really kind of nice. I enjoy it. Now look at this field of wild strawberries. Can you see those white spots of color there? It's really delightful. It's really so nice. Let's see if we can take a whole view here. We're going to cross, and you can see up above the mountain. That's way up on top there. And the creek is just right ahead. And as I always do in every video, I apologize for the primitive character of my videos. I'm not a technician. I don't put a lot of time into that. What I do try to do is enjoy the outdoors, and to the extent that I'm able, I like to share it with you. And here's something I didn't see before. Look at this beautiful red flower. Well, I can hear the creek, so let's take a look at it and see. Let's just see how it is. This is really a pretty spot. I really do enjoy it. Oh, and the creek is really running nicely today. And the trail continues up the hill there, but we're just coming down to have a look at the creek today, so I hope you enjoy this walk to see the creek. Simple thing. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this walk. Take care, and if you've seen something here that you find interesting, please give me a shout out. In the meantime, enjoy your time in the outdoors. Thanks for watching. This is the Okanagan Forest Channel in the Okanagan Highlands. I hope you have a nice day. Take care and be safe.